Welcome back to the jungle, all you fellow pessimistic gardeners out there, and a happy Mother's Day to anyone who happens to be a mother of any kind, either to human children, dog children, cat children, bird children, fish children, or plant children. Happy Mother's Day to you. So today I thought I would show you what you can expect a South Florida garden to look like in mid-May. In case you are starting to garden down here or you're thinking about moving down here, don't do it. I can't stress this enough. If you don't live down here, don't move here. Don't do it. Just stay wherever you are, make the best of it. Okay. Like, if not for your sake, at least for those of us who live here, we don't need more people. Just don't. All right, so here's the kale bed. And the kale is still growing in mid-May. This is 1,000 head kale. It's my favorite variety. A lot of people think it's broccoli. It looks like broccoli, but this plant will get so tall. These leaves are huge. They're nice and flat, which is great for not having aphids. So I never had a problem with aphids on this plant. I didn't have any pest problems on my kale this year, you guys. None. No pests or diseases. But while the kale still looks great now, and we're still eating it every day from our garden, we start our day off with a green smoothie made from our own homegrown kale. As soon as our summer rains start, which should be any day now, I hope it's sooner rather than later, because I love the rainy season. It's my favorite season. Love those rainstorms. But once those rainstorms start and we just have 100% humidity all day, every day, these guys are very, very quickly going to develop fungal and bacterial diseases, and they're going to be dead by middle of June at the latest. So we're going to enjoy them while we still can, but the kale won't be around much longer. Now this back here is broccoli. This was our broccoli bed, and this broccoli was planted in January. It's been 4 months. It never broccolied. Never did a broccoli thing. Couldn't tell you why. This was a variety that was supposed to be purple broccoli, and it just hasn't broccolied. So we'll probably start eating these leaves and using them in pestos or stir fries, stews, whatever. Just maybe saute them with some onions because they didn't broccoli for us. And they're going to die soon. This beauty is one of our banana plants here. It's a dwarf Cavendish variety, and as promised, it is producing bananas at a nice reasonable height because it's a dwarf variety. And we have 2 other banana plants right now that have fruit. So bananas are fruiting right now. This up here is our beautiful Florida Hass avocado, and it is fruiting right now. So it was blooming a couple months ago, and it's setting fruits. Hopefully it won't abort them. If we get rain soon and it gets a source of moisture, because we do not irrigate in this yard. You're on your own if you're a plant in this yard. So hopefully we get rain soon, so it'll keep those fruits, and we'll enjoy some guacamole in September, October time frame. So that guy's great, and that's a Florida Hass avocado. Regular Hass avocado varieties won't survive here because it's too humid. But this is a Florida Hass. I had read some bad reviews about it, but we tried it anyway. It's done great for us, guys. I can't say enough good things about this Florida Hass variety, but it's going to be hard to find. We were lucky that we were in the right place at the right time, like 8 years ago, to find it and buy it. There's our other banana plant that's fruiting. It is not a dwarf, as you can see. That's very high. And I'm not even sure if it's actually a banana or a plantain. It was a plant that I bought from someone on the side of the road, and they didn't say what variety it was, but it was like 8 bucks. 8 bucks, not 8 bugs. I don't know if you can pay people in bugs. Anyway, so I wasn't going to argue with them. Here's a few blackberries. This is a native species. We have a few different species in the genus Rubus, which is our blackberries. Down here in Florida, we've got the dewberry and blackberry. This one's a blackberry. Yeah, you can see the fruits are tiny, and there's not many of them. I think they don't like how warm and dry it is here. So this is the first year we've actually gotten any fruits. And they're not very great looking, so, but we don't do anything with them, so we just let them grow on their own. This didn't take any effort to get these fruits. Over here you've got our jungle of native plants and chaya. These are the natives. There's the chaya, and they are jungling. Here's some of our pineapples putting on fruits. They bloomed back in February, and the fruits will be ripe around July. So usually in July we're overloaded with pineapples, which we love. Nothing wrong with that. So a couple more months and these guys will be ready. This guy here is our macadamia nut tree, putting on fruits. And this is the most fruits or seeds it's ever set, as it aborts one right in my hand. Usually the squirrels get them all. Maybe this year we'll get a couple from the squirrels because it's really producing a lot. And again, this is another tree. We don't fertilize, we don't water, it just does its own thing. And there's a squash vine and another pineapple hiding back there. These are some sad tomato plants. It's been very hot and tomatoes do not like it that hot. Not very many fruits setting either because it's not the right temperature and humidity at night for them to set fruits. That tomato actually looks pretty good, but as you can see, it's got some spotting there, and that's from stink bugs and leaf-footed bugs that have been feeding like crazy on the fruits. So maybe not very edible. And this tomato fruit has blossom end rot, so definitely not edible. So tomato season is pretty much over, except for Everglades cherries, because of the pests and diseases and the heat and the humidity. Oh, we have here a swallowtail butterfly nectaring on the tropical sage. That is a giant swallowtail. Its host plant is citrus plants, or the native plant wild lime. And speaking of Everglades cherries, here's the Everglades cherries. Still doing all right. Plants are getting weaker. These plants are probably about done. I'm not sure if there's any volunteers that are going to take their place throughout the summer, but we have like 3 1-gallon freezer bags full of these guys in the freezer. So we've got plenty of tomatoes for sauce all summer long. There's another sad sack tomato plant. And then we've got some pepper plants here. They're still doing all right. I'm really loving this small purple variety. These are sweet, they're great, love them. This is a bell pepper that I found growing 2 generations ago. I found it volunteering in my compost pile, so I can't tell you what variety it is. It's whatever we got at the store. And this is the 2nd generation from those compost peppers. They're doing great. Banana pepper, that was destroyed by broad mites. And here's a healthy banana pepper, but this plant does not have new leaves because the broad mites got to them. Native plants are doing great this time of year. This is a Jamaican caper, which is blooming like crazy. It's around noon, so the blooms are closing up for now. They don't like the heat. They'll open again and look fresh and nice this evening, but during the day they turn pink and start to fall off, and then we'll get new beautiful white blooms open this evening. And the native firebush is of course very happy right now. More pineapple plants, putting on pineapples. These are planted right at the base of a native slash pine tree, and they love it. So I always try to tell people, pineapples, you don't need to give them like their own separate bed or do anything special. These guys, I just chunked them right in the ground at the base of trees, and they love it. I don't do anything with them. This is wild grapevine. It's wild, it's native here. It invited itself. At first I was a big fan of it because it produces tiny edible fruit. They're pretty good, but they're tiny. And technically you can eat the leaves, but they're pretty bitter compared to other grapes. And the problem is it takes over. It outcompetes everything. It smothers everything. It's coming over from the vacant lot behind us, and it's a lot to keep up with, but that's what we do all summer long, is just try to keep the grapevine in check, because it will take over the entire yard if we let it. This is our native tarflower plant. It's my favorite native plant this time of year. Smells great, and the flowers are sticky, so insects get stuck all over it, which is awesome to see as a scientist. Maybe not so great for the bugs, but it's always fun to see. I know. I'm not only a pessimist, I'm also a psychopath. Anyway, this tarflower. And here is my prize mango tree. This variety is called Kite, K-E-I-T-T. It produces really huge fruits, gigantic, the biggest mango fruits you've ever seen. Very, very sweet flesh and not fibrous at all. So a nice buttery texture, no fibers getting stuck in your teeth, sweet and huge. I mean, what more could you ask for? So it's the variety I chose. It's putting on lots of fruits. I know this is almost the size of a regular mango when it's ripe, but these guys are gonna double or triple in size before they're ripe, if the squirrels and raccoons don't eat them first like they always do. And again, this mango, it's planted amongst this wild area. So this is a wild area of palmettos and sumac and oak trees, and we didn't clear anything to plant it there. We just chunked it in right amidst all of the native plants, and it's done great. Again, no fertilizer, no watering. This is very far from the house. We couldn't water it if we wanted to. And there's pineapples around it that are also happy. So you don't need fertilizer or irrigation systems to grow beautiful plants as long as it's the right plant in the right place. And this was the right place for this right plant. And this is what our wildlife pond looks like this time of year. Only this year because the raccoons, in addition to destroying our pump and fountain that kept water flowing, they have also been tearing out the plants that we have in there as a natural filtration, as a natural nutrient removal device. They've been destroying all the plants in this. There's still a few plants left alive in this pond, but the raccoons come every night and tear out more and more plants. And that's why that pot is floating there. They pulled the plant out of it, they dumped all the soil into the pond, and so it's just a big algae pit right now. And we don't know what to do, because everything we try, the raccoons just destroy it. They are really destructive. And the fish are still alive. These are mosquito fish in here, so we won't have mosquitoes, but it looks pretty disgusting and ugly in there. And honestly, we're running out of options. About to get to the point of just filling it in and giving up on having a pond because the raccoons won't let us have nice things. And this is our shade path, which is doing very well. We started with just a few of these macho ferns here, and they have really taken off and they're thriving. It's a really great place to cool off on a hot afternoon. It's nice and shady here. You have these lush ferns. It just makes it feel like you're in a tropical rainforest instead of baking out in the sun, which will happen if you leave this trail. As you can see at the end of the path there, the bake zone. And this example is just to show you how people on social media can really make things seem better than they are. So you might think, oh, that person's a great gardener and I'm a shit gardener because look at all the problems I'm having. But you saw my other mango and how happy it is. This mango is actually older than that mango. We've had it longer. It's closer to the house, so it gets more water just when we're out here watering other things. And yet these fruits, they're tiny. There's not very many. This mango tree is much smaller. It doesn't look great. If you just looked at this, you would think, wow, she's not a very good gardener. She hardly has any fruits. But the other mango tree looks great. So I could have just showed you that one and not this one. And you would think, oh, what a great green thumb. But there's no such thing as a green thumb or a brown thumb. It's just you have some plants do great sometimes, some plants don't. Right plant, right place, gotta do the research, and some things are just down to plain luck. This mango tree has just not been lucky. And the final plant I'll leave you with is this here, which is our strawberry tree, also called Jamaican cherry tree. It has these little fruits that taste like cotton candy, and it's doing really great this year. It's full of fruits. We should have a great season. It's looking great, smelling great, has a sweet smell, the whole plant. And I'm showing you this as another example of how gardeners on social media sites and on YouTube can make their yard seem perfect and like they have all these successes. But I want you guys to also know there's failures, and the other gardeners don't show that. So this strawberry tree that's looking great, it's our third strawberry tree. It's the third one. The first two died. One was killed by a freeze. One was killed by us planting it in improperly, and it got blown over in a hurricane because we didn't know about washing the soil from the roots before planting plants. We didn't wash away the soil that it came in, so it never properly rooted in our soil, and it died. This one, we knew. We got all the soil off it, planted it bare root into our native soil, and this one's doing great. And we haven't had a freeze yet. So as soon as we get a freeze, this thing will be dead. And that's showing you that we can easily just show you the successes and not the failures, and it would make us seem like great gardeners, but it's nothing about being good at gardening. It's about perseverance and learning and trying different things and trying a lot of things and knowing that a lot of things aren't going to work and a few things are, and that's okay. That's just, it's not all butterflies and unicorns when you garden. Things go wrong, and that doesn't make you a bad gardener. And finally I'll leave you with this. This is one of our garden beds that's not doing so great. The soil never gets saturated with water. It's always dry, so we can never get anything to grow here. And again, that has nothing to do with us being bad gardeners. And if you have a spot like this in your yard where nothing will grow, it doesn't mean you're a bad gardener. It just means you have a bad spot. That's bad luck right there. Nothing wants to really grow here, and that's okay. And we've learned, except for that banana that seems extra happy in this very dry soil, which is weird because they're supposed to like moisture and a lot of nutrients, and it doesn't have any of those here. So also to show you that sometimes the old wisdom and what they say on the internet that a plant likes ends up not being true. So try a lot of things, try everything, keep trying. You're gonna have failures, don't let it get you down, and realize that real gardeners in real life will have failures, and they're just the ones on social media aren't sharing that, and you know what, screw them, forget them for not doing that. Anyway, happy Mother's Day. I hope I inspired you to get back out there and keep trying, and try again. Also, don't move here. Okay, bye.